Good morning and once again welcome to my YouTube channel. And in this video I want us to explain Algebra 6 exercise 1 star and question number 10. And this question is still talking about direct proportionality, and it goes the amount in pound that a plumber charge is directly proportional to the time in hours that the plumber works. A plumber earns 247.5 pounds when she works for 5.5 hours. Direct proportionality. Now we have the cost is directly proportional to the time, and of course we have to introduce the constant of proportionality by including the equal sign and followed by k. This is what substitute the constant of proportionality. And in this case, we have been given some details. The cost is 247.5 when she works for 5.5 hours. And that is enough details for us to calculate the value of k, that is the constant of proportionality. And when we substitute c with 247.5 is equals to 5.5k, because time is 5.5. To get k, we divide both sides by 5.5 and we get our k to be 45. So 45 is our constant of proportionality. Let's now go to answering the question. And part A of the question is asking us sketch a graph of C against T. Let us sketch the graph of C against T. Remember, C is on the y-axis and T is on the x-axis. Now, we have the equation, and this is actually asked in part B. And part B is asking, write a formula for C in terms of T. The formula for C in terms of T is just substituting the value of k here, because C is a variable, it keeps changing. T is a variable, it keeps changing, but k is a constant. So the moment we bring in the value of k here in this equation, and this brings us to this equation, then we are going to find the formula for C in terms of T. And what is that? C is equals to 45t, because 45 is actually our value of k as established in earlier calculation. This one is now going to help us actually answer part A, because part A is asking us to sketch a graph of C against T. And how do we go about that? This is a linear equation, and we simply kind of tabulate. We put our details into a small table, T against T and C. So when T is 1, we just bring T being 1 here. C is equals to 41 times 1, 45 rather, 45 times 1, which is 45. When T is 2, then the cost is 45 times 2, which is 90. But we don't need to draw a graph until 90, until 135. We just have to show when T is 0, what is the cost? The cost C is equals to 45 times 0, which is also 0. And that confirms that our graph starts from the origin. And you can see when T is 1, for instance, then the cost is here 45. The cost is here 45. So this particular 45 1, that particular point is very, very important. All what you do, and because we know it is a straight line, we just take a ruler starting from the origin and come up with a very straight line, and that is the graph. That is the graph of cost against time. If you look at it, then you can already see that when C is 45, then time is 1, and there you go. Part C of the question, let us answer part C of the question here and see. Use your formula to work out how many hours the plumber has worked when she earns £10.35. We simply substitute in the formula. 10.35 is equals to 45t. Divide by 45, divide by 45. And it is very simple. This one is 10.35 divided by 45, and we get 23 hours. So for her to be paid £10.35, she must have worked for 23 hours. And that is the end of Algebra 6, exercise 1 star, and question number 10. This is the graph of cost against time. This is the relationship of cost, that is C and T, and this is the answer to part C. Thank you. Let us work together.